Hey everybody. So last night I was messing around and I came up with this bracelet. It's basically two Solomons inside, or two Cobras on the inside. They both start at opposite ends. They work their way around. They get to the middle and then they cross, and then it becomes a King Cobra over the top. Kind of a different take on the King Cobra. Uses about the same amount of paracord, but I'm going to call this one the Split Decision. And I'm going to use, I think I've got about 10 or 11 feet of black, 10 or 11 feet of the well, that lighter ran out of butane, but I've got about 10 feet of each color here. I'm just going to heat up this end here so that I can flatten it out. Make it a lot easier to get through the buckle. So what we're going to do is take a 3/4 inch buckle, and from the top we're just going to go with one color down through the bottom and pull this through. This is going to be what we call a cow's hitch. Alright, now we're just going to leave this for a second and go to the other side and do the same thing but on the other side. So grab your ends again, go down through the top. So you've already got the black one over here. You're going to do the other color out the other side. So go down through the top, open it up, grab the two ends and pull it through. So we have two cow's hitches now, just like that. Once you get to this point, go ahead and tighten them up pretty good. And then we're just going to run our paracord to the other side. Okay, so I've got my right cord here. I'm going to put it up through the bottom, coming out the top of the other side. And that'll give me one loop here. Do the same thing with your other side. So I've got my left cord now. We're going to push the cow's hitch to the right, take it up through the left. Pull that through. So now we have two loops of the Tar Heel blue. And then we're going to do the same thing with the black. So we take the right cord, which is what I've got in my hand now, push the cow's hitch to the left side, go up the right side through the buckle. Okay. Pull that through. That'll give you a black loop. Now do the same thing with your other one. Push everything to the right side this time and go up through the bottom. And this might be kind of crazy looking because you've got paracord going off in two different directions, but it actually isn't too bad. We just gotta, the hardest part is figuring out your length here. This was a good length for me here, so I'm going to try to duplicate this length again. So when you get to this point, you're going to have 4 loops. You're going to have 2 black, 2 blue. Open this up. Alright, so now what I want to do is I want to put one color up to the top, and if I've got my other color this way, I want to bring those cords down to the bottom. Okay, now we're just going to match these on up, which that actually looks about right. It's pretty close to where I want it. So when you get your length where you want it, that looks about right, go ahead and tighten one side up. I want to go a little longer than that. We'll go about right there. So you can tighten one end up, and all you're going to do is you're just going to do a regular Solomon. So take your left cord, create a loop on the left, go over the top 4 cords, take your right cord over your left one, go around the back, and through that loop. Okay, that'll get you nice and tightened up right up to that buckle. Now what I do is I do another one, just because the inner cords, they kind of don't allow you to tighten it right up. So do another one, and this time you're going to take the right one. So this one's always going to alternate, and it's always going to go over the top. So we did it left side first, now we're on the right side. Take that over the top, take your left one over the right, go around the back, up through the loop. Pull it tight. There we go. Alright, so that'll kind of lock that one in. Now we can check over here just to make sure our length is good, which it appears to be. And now you can see that the black, let me get this one out of the way, you can see the black is kind of loose here. So all we're doing, we're just gonna keep tension on this blue right here, or on the whole thing itself, and you're just gonna pull the black up and see how it made it even. So you just basically, another way you could do it is pull all your black through like that, and then just pull this until it gets tight because of the blue. Now we're going to turn this over and do the same thing. We'll do 2 knots. So left, off to the left side. And we'll zoom in on this for you so you can see what I'm doing. So we've got the left cord creating a loop on the left. We're going to take our right cord over top of the left, take it around the back, up through that loop. Had a couple guys last night helping me with a name. Really appreciate that. They got the kind of the creative juices flowing, if you will. But yeah, I like Split Decision. That was a good one. There was a couple other good ones. I liked King Solomon as a name because you're taking 2 different names that mean the same thing. Well, they kind of mean the same thing. King Cobra would be, you know, the bigger version of the Solomon. So you're combining those 2 names, so it'd be King Solomon. But I like Split Decision because you got kind of two colors coming in, and then they kind of go their own ways. It's, I don't know, kind of hard to explain. Okay, so now that we've gotten to this point, what you're going to do is you're just going to run your black all the way down to about halfway, and then you're going to flip it over and run your blue about halfway. One way that you can tell that you're halfway is if you fold these together like that, that's your halfway point right there. So all I did was took the buckles, put them together, and that's the halfway point. So you don't want to make your black come down and around to this side because then you only got that much room for your blue. They want to be equal. So I'm going to get to that point, and then I'll show you how to cross them over and start the finishing process. Okay, so you can see, let me get down on this for you. You can see we went with the black toward the middle that way, the blue toward the middle that way, and we've gotten to a point where I can only get about 1 more in there. So I think I've got a little more black than I do blue, so I'm going to do the blue side. We're just going to, whoops, try and push this up toward the buckle just so we have a little bit more room there. I want to get this in there as tightly as possible, so we kind of just wedge this one right down in there, and then we do our normal tie like we normally do. Go around the back, through the loop, pull that nice and snug. And what we're going to do here, we're just going to continue right over the black as if it's not even there. So pull your blacks off to the left and the right. We're going to take this blue, go around the back, bring it through, but don't pull it quite tight yet. What we need to do is we need to figure out where these colors are going. So we've got the blacks on the left, we've got these 2 together already. You can see they're not crossed like these are. So what we need to do is we need to back this black through this loop so that they're together. And then we're going to tie, we're going to pull tight the blue. Alright, now we're going to flip this over so we have the blue on the bottom, and we're going to work on our black. So we're just going to take and just continue our black. So pull that nice and tight, and then you can pull your blue nice and tight too. And from this point, you just keep continuing your Solomon, your Cobra, whichever you prefer. Let me back this up a little bit. There we go. Pull it tight. And just keep going back and forth, just like the King Cobra, regular Cobra. Pull her nice and tight. Okay, so I'm going to continue this. Once you get past the middle, that's your hardest challenge, is to figure out where those cords go. So we'll just put these up here to the top. This would be really, really good for like team colors or team events. If you're going somewhere like a sporting event, you could do your 2 colors. Now, one thing when you're doing your the King Solomon part, you want to make sure that this part that's going over the top kind of falls in between these little humps here. It's kind of hard to see. Let me zoom in on it. But you can see that the blue cord here is between this hump here and this hump. It kind of falls in between down there. It'll do the same thing on the opposite side of that too. So when you tie this, you just want to make sure that that cord is going between these 2 humps here, but it also goes in between these 2 over here. Just pull that on tight. And you can see we've kind of got the design going. So all the blue did is kind of went through to the middle, they kind of intersected, and then they just keep continuing. So I'm going to finish this up. The final step on this one is to singe the ends, and then you're done. I'll be back. Alright, so I've got this down to the bottom now. And you can see what we did here. Let me zoom in on this for you. So the blue started as a regular Solomon in the middle, came up along with the black doing the same thing. They switched spots. The blue took over the top part of this, and the black took over the top part of this. So now what I need to do is, well, one thing I need to do is maybe turn up the thing on this. There we go. Now we're cooking. Alright, so I'm going to just cut all these ends off of here real quick. Get them singed up. I think I got that turned up a little too high. Kind of hard to see on the video. It's so bright in here. Alright, let me actually touch this one up with the lighter just because it's really in a weird spot and I don't want to singe all the cord that's around it. There we go. That should be good. That looks good. Now, one thing I did is I took this all the way right up to the buckle, like as far up to the buckle as I could. So make sure you do that too. It'll look the best. Cut these off. Some applications it's good to use that torch lighter, but on something like this, if you're trying to get the heat into a really, really small space, the torch lighter isn't the best thing for that. I mean, the torch lighter is great. It works outstanding. When you use it, you don't get any of that smoke. It does it almost instantly. It melts everything around the spot you're going for too, so that kind of helps fuse everything together. But on this one, I want this one to look perfect, so I'm going to use the regular lighter on this one. There we go. Get that pressed in. Alright, there you have it. I used about 10 feet, and I have about 15 inches left of each color. So that did pretty good. So I think if you start with 10 feet of each color, I think this usually, my bracelets are usually 9 inches long, and that's what you get out of that. It's good to use 2 contrasting colors. I guess it would probably look pretty good with 2 similar colors like neon green, neon yellow. That might look pretty good too. But when you use the contrasting colors, you can really see the design. Hope you like this. Again, this is the split the split decision, and check it out. This would be great for even just survival. I mean, there's almost 20 feet of paracord in here with no fusing of the 2 colors. Or sports teams, if you got, let's say the Cleveland Browns, you could do brown and orange. That'd be good. Thanks for watching, and I hope to bring you some more videos. Please hit that subscribe button and paracord on.